Hey guys, imagine this. You're sprawled on the couch, scrolling through your phone, when a tiny furry shadow slides past your ankle. Up tilts that cute little face, big eyes, tail flicking like a metronome, and suddenly your hand's already in the treat bag. Just one more, you mutter, as crumbs rain onto their fluffy head. Later you glance over. They're stretched out, belly around little mountains, snoring like a tiny tractor. Adorable, right? Until you notice they huff climbing the stairs. Or picture this, it's 7 a.m. You're half asleep, pouring kibble into their bowl without a second thought. The rim's crusty with last night's wet food residue, and there's a suspicious film floating in their water. Meh, they'll eat it, you mumble, rushing out the door. But what if I told you that bowl's hosting a bacteria rave right now? The kind with uninvited guests that crash your cat's immune system. Let's start with the first scenario, the one where love turns into extra pounds. Back in the 70s, vets thought maybe 6 to 12% of cats were carrying too much weight. Cute little chunks, sure, but nothing alarming. Fast forward to today. That number's ballooned to 25 to 40%. That's like walking into a cat cafe acute and realizing almost half the residents are secretly struggling to groom their own backs. Why's that a big deal? Let's just say your cat's belly isn't just a squishy pillow. Those extra pounds are like a subscription to a bunch of terrible health newsletters. Think high cholesterol, fatty liver disease, even diabetes. Ever watched your cat try to jump onto the windowsill and pause mid-leap? That's not laziness, that's joints screaming under the extra load. Arthritis loves that. And don't even get me started on how it messes with their heart and kidneys. It's like stacking bricks on a tiny purring machine that wasn't built for it. The worst part, most of us do it with the best intentions. They looked hungry. It's just one treat. But here's the cold hard truth, that just one adds up. Your cat doesn't know when to stop. Evolution taught them to scarf down food whenever it's available, back when meals were scarce. So when you're handing out treats like they're confetti at a parade, you're overriding their natural instincts. The fixer. Channel your inner drill sergeant. When those big eyes beg, think, is this for them or for me? Spoiler, it's usually you. Close the treat bag. Measure their food. Your future self and their joints will thank you. Now let's talk about the other food-related disaster. The cat bowl that's basically a science experiment. You know the one has that mysterious crust around the edge, smells a little off, but you figure they don't mind. Newsflash, they might not complain, but their bodies are taking notes. A few years back, some researchers decided to swab pet bowls like they were crime scenes. What they found would make a germaphobe scream into a pillow. MRSA, Salmonella, all kinds of bacteria having a wild party. These aren't just icky, they are trouble. Salmonella gives them diarrhea. MRSA can cause infections, and that slime. It's a breeding ground for stuff that messes with their digestion. Why does this happen? Think about it, your cat licks their bowl clean, sort of, leaving saliva behind. Then you pour more food or water, creating a moist, nutrient-rich buffet for bacteria. By the next day, that bowl's less dining ware and more microbe nightclub. And it's not just food bowls, water bowls are worse. Stagnant water gets slimy fast, and trust me, your cat notices. Ever seen them dip a paw in and lick it instead? They are not being divas, they are avoiding the germs. The solution? It's so simple it's almost embarrassing. Wash the bowl. Every day. With hot water, maybe a little dish soap. No, rinsing doesn't count. Scrub that crust. Your cat's taste buds and immune system will do a happy dance. Plus, it's not like you'd eat off a plate that's been sitting out for 3 days. Why make them? Here's a mental image to motivate you. Imagine eating cereal out of a bowl that hasn't been washed since Tuesday. Gross, right? Now imagine you're tiny, can't wash it yourself and have to eat from it every day. Yeah, that's your cat's life. Do better. So to recap, love your cat but don't love them to obesity with treats. And for the love of all that's fluffy, wash their bowls. Your cat can't talk but their future health is whispering, please. Let me paint you a picture. It's a quiet evening, your cat's curled up on the windowsill, tail twitching at a bird outside. You sink into the armchair, light up and exhale. The smoke curls toward the ceiling and you think, they are on the other side of the room, no big deal. Meanwhile, that tiny fluffball is breathing in a cocktail of chemicals you can't even see. Spoiler, it's a very big deal. Let's start with the elephant in the room, or rather the cigarette in your hand. Back in 2003, some clever folks dug into how secondhand smoke affects our pets, and what they found. Kinda terrifying. Turns out, cats in smoking households soak up more nicotine and carcinogens than we do proportionally. Think of it like this: if you're sipping a soda, they are chugging a whole liter. Why? Blame their fur. It acts like a sponge, trapping all those yucky particles. Then, because cats are basically tiny, furry, clean freaks, they spend hours licking themselves, grooming that toxic residue right into their systems. The result? A front row ticket to some pretty grim health issues. Lymphoma, oral cancers, tumors in their nasal passages. Odds go up by 3 to 8 times. And here's the kicker: these diseases aren't exactly easy to fix. By the time symptoms show up, it's often too late. Your cat can't cough and say, "Hey, this smoke's bugging me." They just suffer in silence. But hey, there's a silver lining. About a third of pet owners, when they find out their smokes are turning their cat into a ticking time bomb, actually quit. Not for themselves, for their fur baby. That's the power of that little purr. So if you light up, maybe ask yourself, is this cigarette worth risking those 3 a.m. head boops? If quitting feels impossible, we get it. Habits are hard, at least play defense. Smoke outside, far from open windows. And don't kid yourself, just a little smoke lingers. Even 2 hours after the visible cloud's gone, half the carcinogens are still hanging around, like unwanted party guests. So change your clothes, wash your hands and face. Those particles stick to skin too before snuggling. Your cat's lungs will send you a thank you note, probably in the form of a dead mouse, but still. Now let's shift to a messier topic, one that involves a litter box and a shovel. Picture this: you've had a long day. The litter box has a couple of presents in it, but you think, "I'll scoop tomorrow." Your cat walks over, sniffs, and walks away. Then an hour later, you find a surprise on your favorite rug. Bad cat. You scold. But here's the truth: you're the one who messed up. A few years back, scientists decided to put cats to the test. They watched how felines reacted to litter boxes with varying levels of contents. One little poop. 58% of cats paused, stared, and thought, maybe later. Add more. That number shot up. By the time there were 3 pee clumps and 3 poops, even a 12-year-old cat who'd never, ever peed outside the box would hold it, cross their tiny legs and suffer, rather than use that disaster zone. Why's holding it so bad? Let's break it down. Holding pee can lead to cystitis or worse, urinary blockages. For male cats especially, that's an emergency. Imagine having to go so bad it hurts, but you're too polite or grossed out to use the bathroom. That's your cat, minus the ability to complain. And holding poop. Constipation, which can snowball into something called megacolon, where the colon gets stretched out and stops working. Suddenly, what started as "I'll scoop tomorrow" turns into a vet bill that could have bought a fancy new litter box. So how often should you scoop? Think of it like taking out the trash. Ignoring it makes life stink. Aim for once or twice a day. Yeah, even on weekends. Your cat's bladder and your rug will thank you. Pro tip: keep a little shovel near the box. Make it a habit, after your morning coffee before bed. Think of it as quality time. They might even help, sitting there watching like a tiny, judgmental supervisor. Took you long enough, human. Here's a weirdly relatable angle. Would you use a bathroom that hadn't been flushed in 2 days? Probably not. You'd hold it, grumble, maybe even sneak off to a friend's place. Your cat's no different. They just don't have friends with better litter boxes. They are stuck with yours. So be a decent landlord. Keep their bathroom clean. So to sum up, smoke and your cat don't mix like tuna and toothpaste. And if you're slacking on litter duty, your cat's bladder is sending you a strongly worded memo. Both fixes are simple, really. Put down the cigarette. Pick up the shovel. Your cat's future self and your wallet will high-five you. Imagine this: you're in the kitchen and your cat's dozing on the counter, tail curled neatly around their paws. You creep up, make a loud boo, and watch them launch into the air like a furry missile, ears flattened, eyes wide. You laugh, look how jumpy they are. But as they dart under the couch, refusing to come out for hours, you don't notice the way their little chest heaves. That harmless prank. It's not funny to them. Not even a little. Let's talk about the stress we accidentally dump on our cats, without ever meaning to. We all know the big stuff: forcing them into carriers, taking them to the vet, introducing a new pet. But what about the tiny, everyday things? The ones that feel normal to us but to them? It's like living in a house with a random fire alarm that goes off, just because. A while back, some vets dug into how stress messes with cats and the results. Kinda scary. Acute stress like that sudden boo can do more than make them hide. In rare cases, it's enough to send their hearts into overdrive and, well, let's not dwell. But chronic stress, that's the silent killer. Think of it as a slow leak in a balloon. You don't notice until it's deflated. It messes with their bladders, making them prone to infections or even blockages. It weakens their immune systems, so a tiny cold turns into a weeks-long sniffling fit. It upsets their tummies, leading to diarrhea or vomiting. Worst of all, it changes their brains, making them anxious, aggressive, or withdrawn. And here's the kicker, we're often the ones hitting the stress button, chasing them around the house for fun. That's not play, that's terror. Setting up obstacles to keep them active, like stacking boxes in their favorite path. To them, it's a maze with no exit, forcing them to cuddle when they clearly want to leave. That's like someone pinning you to a couch when you're dying to go to the bathroom. They can't say stop, so they freeze or struggle, or peeing outside the litter box later as a cry for help. Ever met a cat that hisses at guests, or hides under the bed during parties? That's not rudeness, that's stress. They don't care that your cousin traveled 3 hours to meet them. They care that their safe space is suddenly full of loud voices and strange smells, forcing them to be social. It's like making a shy kid perform at a talent show. Sure, you mean well, but you're just making it worse. Then there's the way we talk to them. Raising your voice when you're mad, even if it's not at them, sends their ears back. Cats don't understand. I'm yelling at the TV, not you. All they hear is a loud, threatening noise, and their brains hit survive mode. Over time, that constant low-level fear, it wears them down. Their coats get dull. They stop eating as much. They stop purring. And you're left thinking, why is my cat so grumpy lately? Spoiler, it's you. But here's the wildest part, our moods affect them too. Not just the yelling, even the quiet, sad stuff. A researcher named Vicky Halls looked into cats who'd lost a feline buddy, and what she found? The cats didn't mope because their friend was gone. They moped because their human's moped. If you're sad, withdrawn, not playing with them, not giving them their usual head boops, they pick up on that. It's like living with a roommate who's always sighing, staring at the wall. Eventually their vibe rubs off on you. And it's not just their feelings. Your bad mood can mess with their health too. Ever noticed how when you're stressed, you get headaches or stomach aches? Cats are the same, but they can't tell you. A study even found that when humans stay angry for more than 8 minutes, it messes with their blood vessels, making them stiffer. Now imagine that stress bouncing off you and onto your cat, who can't hit the gym or talk to a friend to blow off steam. They just hold it in. So what do? It starts with paying attention. That joke chase. Not a joke. Let them come to you for cuddles instead of grabbing them. If they run under the bed when guests come, let them. They'll come out when they are ready. And when you're having a bad day, try to snap out of it for their sake. Play with them even if you don't feel like it. Talk to them in that silly high-pitched voice. They love that. Your mood is contagious. Make it a good one. Think of it this way. Your cat is your tiny, furry, emotional support human, but you're theirs too. They rely on you to keep the world calm, predictable, and full of treats, in moderation. When you mess that up, they suffer. But when you get it right, they purr so loud it shakes the couch. They headbutt your hand when you're typing. They sleep on your feet, like a warm, squishy blanket. So let's cut the harmless scares. Ditch the forced interactions. And when life gets messy, take a breath. For them. Because that little ball of fur, they are counting on you to be their safe place.